Thanks for joining us for this month's edition of Okaloosa Eye on Crime. Now, Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers enjoys a lot of success because so many folks are willing to say something when they see or hear something, and of course they can call it all in anonymously.
That's right, and this month we've got a show where we're hoping that you have some information that you can share in reference to 2 Fort Walton Beach area homicides, an armed robbery, and a whole lot more. So let's get started on that. First up, the Walton County Sheriff's Office is investigating an armed robbery at a gas station in Santa Rosa Beach that took place on June 24th. At 2:30 in the morning, 2 black males entered the Exxon gas station at 30A West and Highway 98, and they pointed a gun at the clerk before running out of the store. Walton Correctional and Okaloosa Correctional K-9 teams responded to the scene to try and track, but it's believed the individuals may have fled the area in a vehicle. So anyone with information, please contact Walton County Sheriff's Office 850-892-8111 or, of course, Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers.
And the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is investigating the robbery of an individual at an ATM. They're trying to identify the individual pictured here, reference the robbery of an individual that occurred at an ATM on North Beale Parkway over in Fort Walton Beach back on May 6th. Take a look at him. Anybody with information, contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers. Of course, we have the toll-free hotline. You can go to emeraldcoastcrimestoppers.com, or we have the P3 Tips mobile application.
Okay, we have an enhanced reward offered for information in a fatal shooting. The Florida Sheriff's Association Criminal Apprehension Assistance Program and Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers will pay enhanced reward money, and that's for information leading to the identity of the shooter or shooters responsible for the murder of 28-year-old Stoney Mathis on June 7th outside his Fort Walton Beach area home. Crime Stoppers is offering up to a $3,000 reward for information, and the FSA CAAP has chipped in another $5,000 towards the reward. Now keep in mind, as we keep telling you, that Crime Stoppers is 100% anonymous. You never have to give your name. The anonymous tip must come through Crime Stoppers to be eligible for this $8,000 reward. Meantime, Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office investigators have released photos of a gray sedan that may have been at or near the scene of the shooting. They're also looking for a light gray or silver Kia Soul. So if you've got information on that, please let us know.
Next up, the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is trying to identify this man, reference a burglary that occurred to a business in Crestview on June 27th. Between 1830 and 1930 hours, the suspect pictured here entered the property of Crestview Ready Mix, located at 1070 Farmer Street up in Crestview, and took several items without permission, including power tools and other equipment used for the business. Now, anybody with information, contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers. Remember, 100% anonymously.
And the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is searching for 19-year-old John William Galveo Saab for questioning in connection with the fatal shooting of a Fort Walton Beach man March 17th. 48-year-old Ernest Riggs was shot inside his rental work truck while parked in the street at Capri Commons Mobile Home Park near Fort Walton Beach around 7 p.m. OCSO investigators want to talk to Galveo Saab in connection with that case, and they're asking anyone with information on him to please call 850-651-7400, or Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers is 850-863-TIPS, emeraldcoastcrimestoppers.com, and of course you can contact via the P3 Tips mobile application.
Next up, the Fort Walton Beach Police Department is trying to identify this individual, reference a burglary that occurred on June 8th at about 3:40 a.m. at a gas station located on Miracle Strip Parkway Southwest. So take a look at him. Anybody with information, as always, you can contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers.
And wrapping up some of these high-profile cases, the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is seeking information in a 2020 homicide. This one is in reference to one that took place 216 Hickory Street near Fort Walton Beach around 7:46 p.m. on the evening of December 15th. They found 28-year-old Kreskin Robinson of Fort Walton Beach inside a vehicle in the driveway of the residence, and he was dead from an apparent gunshot wound. So any information on that, let us know.
Sheriff Eric Aden recently welcomed many of the members of the OCSO's new Citizens Advisory Board.
And these individuals from various walks of life and all across Okaloosa County are going to help provide input on issues of concern. They'll also further strengthen the already solid connections and relationships between the OCSO and law enforcement and the citizens served.
And he calls the creation of the Citizens Advisory Board a true win-win situation.
This was already something that I had in the works that I had envisioned if I became the sheriff that I wanted to implement. It took about 6 months to get it formalized once I took office in January. to get all the members put together. It's a growing work in progress. You know, it's not heavy lifting on their part. I've got people from Laurel Hill, Baker, Crestview, Niceville, Mary Esther. Every different portion of this county is represented on this board. But aside from the meetings, the whole purpose for this board is continued communication and relationships, and that's going to be ever growing every day. So if they have an issue, they call us, we work on it. And what it also does is they can evaluate our performance. And so because we have such a wonderful relationship, I wanted to build on that and have open dialogue. If they saw that there were needs in their community, whether it be their work community, whether it be where they lived, or any of their friends had anything, they would have a one-on-one contact with us to be able to relay those issues back to us so that we could focus resources and personnel on them and better the relationships, or at least get in front of it. And of course, with everything that happened in this past year, well, actually 2020 all up until now, it's just made the need and the importance for this board all the much greater.
And now heading into our first list of wanted individuals, we're going to start off with some good news, and that is that Malik Naquan Humphreys has been located since our last show.
But we've got a new face to the show. That's 30-year-old Therence Walter Crooks. He's being sought for possession of a weapon or ammo by a convicted felon. He was last known to live on Bay Street in Fort Walton Beach.
Tanya Denise Curry is 50 years old, and she's wanted for sale of cocaine. She's last known to live on Colonial Drive in Fort Walton Beach.
Another new addition this month is 36-year-old Shailene Nicole Matthews, last known to live over in Milton. She's wanted for sexual assault and cruelty toward child, as well as other sex offenses.
Brennan Shane Dickinson, located since last show.
But we're still looking for Donald Joe Mitchell for DUI, as well as driving while license suspended or revoked, last known to live out in Navarre.
41-year-old Dennis Drake Hall Henderson is wanted for failure to appear for resisting arrest without violence, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of marijuana. He was last known to live on Catherine Street near Fort Walton Beach.
Next up is 50-year-old Tad Keith Bowers. He's wanted for violation of probation on the original charge of child neglect.
Also searching for Robert Wayne Maxwell. Maxwell's wanted by the Walton County Sheriff's Office for threats, extortion, and cyber stalking.
Okaloosa deputies are still searching for 39-year-old Tiffany Nicole Key, and they're looking for her for larceny.
Scott Daniel Sconyers was last known to live in Destin. He's wanted for violation of probation on charges of DUI and fleeing and eluding.
Chelsea Ann Summers, also last known to live in Destin. She's 26. She's wanted for failure to appear for possession of a controlled substance as well as possession of narcotics equipment.
And please contact Crime Stoppers if you know the location of Anthony Michael Frodelli. Frodelli's wanted for VOP for grand theft, trafficking in stolen property, and providing false information to a pawnbroker.
And we don't have a photo for this one, but it's Brandon Dalton West. He's 30 years old. He's wanted for sexual assault.
Still looking for Alyssa Victoria Hibberts. Hibberts is wanted for VOP for child neglect and possession of cocaine.
27-year-old Cheyenne Lee Gentry. She is being sought for violation of probation for possession of methamphetamine, last known to live on Oak Tree Drive in Crestview.
And this is James Clinton Brinkley Jr. He's last known to live in Pensacola, and he's wanted for VOP for battery.
Well, another chapter has been written in the ongoing story of excellence achieved by the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office Youth Services Division.
That's for sure. Deputy Keith McCullough, an OCSO school resource officer at Silver Sands School in Fort Walton Beach, has received a national award for his, quote, exceptional service to his agency, his school, and his community.
That's right, and Deputy McCullough was presented the award at the National Association of School Resource Officer Conference, also known as NASRO, in Orlando.
So we want to say congratulations to Deputy McCullough, and we want to thank you for your countless contributions.
Next up, we have our second list of wanted fugitives we're hoping maybe you can help us find. We do want to remind you also they are all wanted as of today's taping date, which is July 20th, 2021. So next up, no photo of this one either, but we're still looking for Kelvin Paul Michael Wise. He's being sought for sexual battery.
Michael Sean Riley, searching for him for multiple felony failure to appear warrants. Those warrants include burglary, and he was last known to live on 26th Street in Niceville.
And Okaloosa deputies are still looking for 35-year-old Joseph Lee Fairchild for violation of probation for aggravated assault.
This is Ramisha Rebecca Hatcher. Hatcher's wanted for VOP for grand theft.
45-year-old David Allen Bobbitt, he's being sought for fraud.
Regina Lynn Daniels, wanted for VOP for possession of methamphetamine, and last known address was on Hudson Drive in Crestview.
New face to this month's show is 62-year-old Thomas Edward Allison. He's wanted for failure to appear for aggravated assault on a person 65 or older, last known to live in Destin.
John Patrick Sinke's wanted for failure to register as a sexual offender, last known to be on Vita Lane in Fort Walton Beach.
And 50-year-old Clayton McCree Copeland, he's been on several months now. He's wanted for violation of probation for providing false information to a pawnbroker, as well as grand theft of a motor vehicle, last known to live in Destin.
Another VOP charge, this one for Jerry Daniel Beaver, and it's for possession of methamphetamine and driving with a license that had been suspended or revoked. Last known address, Boyce Drive in Shalimar.
Coretta LaDawn James, who was last known to live on Wilson Street in Crestview, she's being sought for failure to appear for grand theft and fraud.
45-year-old Tyrone Mandrell Frost, wanted for VOP for burglary, last known address Greenwood Street in Fort Walton Beach.
46-year-old Leon Leslie Chandler, wanted for violation of probation for driving while license suspended or revoked, and possession of weapon or ammo by a convicted felon, last known to live on Ashley Lane in Fort Walton Beach.
Moving over to Walton County, the SO's got 2 active warrants stemming from 2 cases of burglary during a state of emergency and grand theft for Gregory Ray Long, last known address Strange Road in Defuniak Springs.
25-year-old Brayon J. Valenzuela Castile, hopefully I said that right, wanted for failure to appear for lewd behavior on a victim 12 to 14, last known to live on Tyner Street in Fort Walton Beach.
Up next is Blake Elliott Gundred. Gundred's wanted for VOP for grand theft, trafficking in stolen property, and providing false information to a pawnbroker.
Wrapping up our second list is another new fugitive this month, and that's Jose Francisco Cabrera Llorardo. He's 18 years old. He's wanted for failure to appear for lewd behavior on a victim aged 12 to 16, last known to live on Baker Avenue in Fort Walton Beach. Members of the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office dive team volunteered to take part in a major effort spearheaded by Force Blue to clean up trash and debris at the Destin East Jetty in June. Take a look.
So we found out about the cleanup over at our local dive shop where we get our tanks filled and our equipment service at Scuba Tech there in Destin. We had 4 of us on the dive team sign up and 1 other agency member. We took one of our patrol boats out there just basically to help with also scene security. So all 5 of us participated in the event with Force Blue to do the jetty cleanup. Biggest thing that we found, obviously, like you're saying, is fishing line, weights, lures, beer cans, even big pieces of wood that could be a marine hazard also to boats and swimmers. You know, plastic cups, plastic bottles. But the big thing is the fishing line and the lures and the hooks that are dangerous not only to our local marine life but also to swimmers, the snorkelers. It's a big snorkel spot. Here at Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, we have a full-time dive team. We have 10 members on our team. 8 of them are full-time, 2 of them are auxiliary part-time. I myself recently got certified as an instructor through PADI. So I'm the dive team leader. Right now, 5 of our members are dive masters, so we're working on getting the other 5 up to dive master. But everybody is advanced certified, rescue diver certified, full face mask, dry suit. So our main objective as a dive team, big part of our calls is victim recovery. We're all on call 24/7. So we're able to deploy anywhere around the county rather quickly. You know, one of our main goals is to give that closure to the family, with being able to recover their loved one just in case we do have a drowning or any kind of incident like that. Other things that we do as a dive team, we recover submerged vehicles, evidence recovery for our criminal investigations division, people tossing guns off bridges or in canals or lakes or anything like that. Obviously, we have here around this area, we have the fun diving, the nice crystal clear water and good visibility. And that's the main thing I tell some of the divers that try it for our team is that's not how it is on our team, because we dive in the blacked out, no visibility water, anything like that. So you have to be able to be mentally tough and to be able to handle those kind of conditions. A lot of our evidence recoveries are in swampy areas. We have to not only deal with the zero visibility and the hazards all throughout the water, but we have to deal with the wildlife also that, with some of these areas that we dive in, whether it's alligators, sharks, snakes, whatever it is. Another big thing for our team is we're big with assisting other agencies. And so if they have a boating crash, or there's any fatalities or any victims in the water or anything like that, our team will assist them in locating. And all of our divers are also trained on evidence processing and crime scene. We all have GoPros and cameras that we can document a crime scene, sketch out a crime scene underwater.
And that is some pretty neat video. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office Underwater Investigative Unit, or UIU, was formed back in 1995 to provide a professional means of search, recovery, and documentation of items from local waterways. It's a service provided to all law enforcement or any other agency requiring specialized skills in that area.
Now, the UIU is responsible for the recovery of all evidence or victims from the waterways of Okaloosa County, which includes the Gulf of Mexico out to 9 miles or further if required. Now, searches of underwater scenes are conducted with various specialized techniques and patterns to locate items of all sizes.
And some of those items can be as large as an aircraft or as small as a single bullet casing. And once an item or an unfortunate victim's been located, the team utilizes underwater video systems and still cameras to photograph the object and document the crime scene. Those items are then recovered and packaged just as any other piece of evidence. So some interesting tidbits on the dive team. Moving now to another list of fugitives that we're searching for. We've got Anjali Rachel Johnson topping this list, and she's wanted for aggravated battery.
38-year-old William George Riding Jr., he's wanted for counterfeiting.
Michelle Renee Riding wanted for felony violation of probation.
62-year-old James Terrence Higham, he last known to live on South Drive in Fort Walton Beach. He's being sought for theft from a person 65 or older.
Please contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers if you have any information on where to find Christine Chadwick. Chadwick's wanted for cruelty to an animal and resisting arrest without violence.
We're also searching for 22-year-old Aisha Marie Nathan. She's wanted for failure to appear for vehicle theft, last known to live in Fort Walton Beach.
And Reginald Dwayne Muse has been on our list for a while. He's wanted for VOP for grand theft, burglary, and aggravated stalking.
28-year-old Mary Elizabeth Gibson, she's wanted for violation of probation for leaving the scene of a crash with injuries, last known to live on Silva Drive in Fort Walton Beach.
Timothy James Howard was last known to live over on Bearhead Road in Defuniak Springs. He's wanted for larceny, resisting an officer, and recovery of stolen property, as well as failure to appear on a fraud charge.
And Okaloosa deputies are still searching for 37-year-old Sean Curtis Keith for aggravated battery. He was last known to live on Old Hickory Road up in Crestview.
Dwayne Elliott Shelton's last known address was Catmar Road Drive in Niceville. He's wanted for failure to appear for driving with a license suspended or revoked, resisting arrest, and possession of a controlled substance.
And the OCSO has been searching for this one for a while. That's 52-year-old George Monroe Emmerich II. He's being sought for violation of probation for domestic violence strangulation as well as aggravated battery.
Same ongoing search for Alexis Wilmer Mondragon, wanted by the OCSO for sexual battery, sexual offense against a child, and lewd and lascivious molestation. Last known to live on Spencer Drive in Fort Walton Beach, but he's been on this list for quite a while.
41-year-old Ronald Shane Hudson, he's being sought for violation of probation for possession of personal ID of 5 persons, fraud, and uttering forged instrument.
Tommy Daniel Lucas is wanted by the Walton County Sheriff's Office, and Lucas is wanted for grand theft of a motor vehicle and narcotics charges. He also has a misdemeanor warrant out of Okaloosa County.
Daniel Lewis Davis, who was last known to live in Crestview, he's wanted for violation of probation for burglary.
And wrapping up this round is Craig Edward Brocchetto, and the good news that he has been located since our last show.
Our OCSO explorers took time out to test their skills during an annual competition recently at our training complex near Crestview.
And with the help of many of our OCSO school resource officers, the group's young members constantly build and hone their leadership abilities, and they have a good time while doing it. You'll see that in this video.
What's going on out here today is the kids out here are competing in our own in-house competition. They usually go down in June, and we go against all the other Explore posts in all of Florida. There's hundreds, sometimes thousands of kids down there, and there's a gamut of competitions that we do, anywhere from domestic violence, crime scene, shooting, everything, you name it, and even a small driving portion sometimes. But with COVID restrictions and everyone just being a little extra careful this year, the numbers are down. So we decided to host our own interagency competition for our kids. And they're super excited for it because they've been training for it. Now they want to showcase their skills. Well, we didn't want to just give them nothing. So we decided we have an amazing facility up here at Okaloosa County. Let's use our own facility. So they're going to do the PAT course that we run as deputies. They're running the same PAT course. They're shooting on our shooting range with our range masters, and they're doing precision shooting with 22 caliber and 9mm. And on top of that, we've set up cars in our own facility over here to do mock traffic stops. So they're actually calling out traffic stops like our deputies would on the road.
I thought we were just going to be doing a whole bunch of like desk work, but now we're out here at the range shooting, running the PAT course, learning a lot about how to talk to people. It's great.
So your future plans are to be in law enforcement then?
Yes.
Army.
After I get out of the Army, I would like to become an SRO and hopefully become the best SRO across the whole nation.
These kids that are either interested in law enforcement or they're interested in any type of community outreach or community give back, could be possibly military, they come into this program and we teach them everything from how to investigate a crime, how to protect yourself, how to change a tire, how to have dinner etiquette, all the way up to going down to a competition in June and doing a shooting competition, how to do de-escalation techniques, everything that you would want to learn and have as an adult anyway, even if you're not getting into law enforcement or getting into military. A lot of kids come in and they just like the program and they say, I love law enforcement, but I don't want to be a law enforcement officer. 2, 3, 4 years later, they're telling us, hey, I've got a question for you. How do I become a cop? And they want to know. And the great thing is now Sheriff Aiden is starting a program where you can go from the Explorers, you can go right into our cadet program, right into the academy and come back and work right for us, which is amazing.
Explorers program is awesome. Anybody who's looking forward to or just want to learn basic life skills, because we learn a lot more than just what cops do. It's great. Anybody looking forward to it, you should come join.
To our website and click on join OCSO, and the drop down will come down, and on the very bottom it says Explorers, and all the information about our program and who to contact is all right there.
And again, as Deputy Corain says, if you want to learn more or you want to join, just head to the Sheriff's website, sheriff-okaloosa.org, go to Join Us, and then head to the drop-down list and Explorers. All the information you need will be right there. Now we're going to head on to our last list of fugitives that we want to try and get some help locating. Contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers if you know where to find Roderick James Rutterson Jr. He's wanted for possession of synthetic narcotics within 1,000 feet of a school and failure to appear on a traffic charge.
We're still looking for 33-year-old Samuel Edward Thomas III. He's wanted for violation of probation on the original charges of providing false information to a pawnbroker, false imprisonment, as well as grand theft.
Kristen Marie Chandler is still fleeing and eluding because she's wanted for failure to appear on a fleeing and eluding charge, and she's 32 years old.
Wanted by the Walton County Sheriff's Office is James Anthony Williams, and he's being sought for violation of probation for possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Up next is Deshaun Coward Sr., wanted for driving with a license suspended or revoked and non-payment of child support. His last known address was Scranton Street in Fort Walton Beach.
51-year-old Stephen Charles Briley, he's being sought for violation of probation for grand theft as well as uttering a forged instrument.
Also looking for Tony Wayne Poland. He's wanted for failure to appear for criminal mischief, burglary, and theft.
And we don't have a photo available for Angel Lewis Trowery, but if anybody knows where he is, he's being sought by the Crestview Police Department for aggravated stalking.
Also trying to track down Cole Rutland Graninger. Graninger's wanted for VOP for aggravated stalking and burglary.
Next up is 19-year-old Jermaine Oliver Jones. He's wanted for violation of probation for burglary as well as grand theft.
And 41-year-old Jessica Rulo, wanted by the Walton County Sheriff's Office for burglary. Last known address was on Bream Avenue in Fort Walton Beach.
Wrapping up our final list of fugitives is a new face. That's 62-year-old Toy Ann LaRocca, wanted for DUI, third violation in 10 years. Last known to live on Carmel Drive in Fort Walton Beach.
And with the help of some incredibly dedicated Okaloosa County school resource officers and some generous sponsors, as well as outstanding community partners who got involved, more than 300 Okaloosa students had a great time interacting with law enforcement and making some positive memories during Youth Week 2021.
Yeah, it all culminated with a great get-together at the Northwest Florida Fairgrounds near Fort Walton Beach.
It was absolutely an incredible outpouring of support, not just from what our school resource officers put together, but the community that got behind the event. At the last minute, we had to move the final day of it to the fairgrounds due to weather. The military came out, the city of Fort Walton, city of Niceville. They brought different displays for us, and multiple different agencies brought their police equipment for the kids and citizens. Parents were out there. Just a lot of great support from our community for this event, and I think it's a win-win to allow our community and our kids, our next generation, to be able to interact with law enforcement in that way.
And before we wrap up the show, we just want to say thank you to the many Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers tipsters that have submitted tips this year. We are already almost at 800 tips here in July, and that's pretty impressive. And we've already approved more than $11,000 in rewards so far this year. So looks like we're going to have some record-breaking numbers. So we appreciate the community support.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me because there's been so much going on in the community, and this shows how responsive the people are out there to Crime Stoppers by getting involved, which is key because public safety is the responsibility, of course, of everybody. And that's going to do it for this month's show. Thank you for joining us.